Hi everyone, this is Jessica Canty. I am your life and career strategist. I'm here to have another lunchtime lingo with you. If this is the first time we're meeting, hi. I call myself a life and career strategist because I have a passion for helping working professionals go from unfulfilled jobs to their dream careers. And look, our guest speaker is already in the building. I'm so excited because we're going to have a conversation today about how to make sure that you don't look and feel telefrazzled. We'll talk a little bit about what that means. Let me go ahead and connect her into this conversation because I'm so excited to see her beautiful face. Hi, oh, these braids. I
Hi.
love these braids. They look so pretty on you. Good afternoon.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
How are you?
I'm well, I am well. So I was just beginning to introduce myself, and I can't wait to introduce you. Let me
Sure.
just back a little bit so the angle. Okay. All right. So what I was mentioning was that I love helping people go from unfulfilled jobs to their dream careers. And
Sure.
in this new career space, having to do a whole lot of work online, I'm feeling your pain. I hear your pain out there. It's feeling Zoom drained. Like you've had enough of that Zoom,
Yes.
those virtual meetings, and sometimes it shows up on our face. Even though we want to do our best, we want to make sure that we're carrying out the mission and values of the agencies that we work for, the companies that we work for. It shows on our face sometimes.
Sure.
So I'm so excited to be able to have this conversation today with Miss Erin Teagle because she is a jack of all trades, a beat face extraordinaire. And I want to be able to allow you to introduce yourself to the people. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how to make sure that you show up and you look your best when you're doing these virtual meetings and virtual conversations. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself, my dear.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. First, I want to give honor to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I thank you for the opportunity to come on and chat about how to look Zoom ready. And so I am Erin Teagle with the Luxe Beauty Experience. I own my own makeup company in which I travel and do. I'm an independent makeup artist and I do makeup for all occasions. And so it's something that I love. It's my passion and I really enjoy it. And so I am grateful to be able to share some tips and tricks to for everyone to look Zoom ready.
Absolutely. So I'm going to brag a little bit about Erin because she only gave you a brief bio, but we said all types of events. You can hire her for your birthdays, your birthday. You ready for your interview? She'll make sure you look awesome. You got a virtual space you want to show up in, she's going to make you look beautiful. So before we dive into the subject, Erin, can you tell us a little bit about your background? Like, how did you get to owning your company? What is just a little bit about, I guess you could say almost like your resume to how you got to this.
Sure, absolutely. So I've been a makeup artist for a little over 11 years now. I started with Sephora and then, of course, Makeup Art Cosmetics, also known as MAC. And so I worked for them for about 5 years. And then I decided to separate and pursue my own artistry as an independent makeup artist. And so now, you know, it's taking me to places that I never imagined. And so I love what I do. I truly enjoy it. I like meeting clients. I like, learning about different cultures when you do, different weddings and things like that. And so all of that has just really given me an opportunity to just learn over time. I've been able to grow in my artistry, learning from other makeup artists, even management at MAC, and sitting under some of them and learning, different techniques and things like that. And so now, again, it's crazy that it's actually even been 11 years. I never even imagined it going this far. And so I'm just excited to see where else it will go.
Oh, awesome. I'm so glad that you mentioned coming doing that because I want the audience to know you are in good hands. The tips that she's giving, they tried and tested, and all the things that she's learned on different photo shoots, working with different types of clients, like she said, different cultural experiences. So what she's sharing is not something that's just for one segment of the population. If you're in this space, she is here to help. You are in the right.
For sure.
Okay, so I don't take it lightly that as a global community, we're experiencing a pandemic, and in this pandemic, we've had to shift and pivot the way we do our business, the way we
Absolutely.
interact even with not just business, but even pleasure, in the way we interact with family and friends. A lot of it is now virtual. And there's this new, I don't know if it's a like official diagnosis now, but they're saying it's called Zoom fatigue.
Yeah,
People are just being worn out by the idea of having to interact virtually almost all throughout the day.
absolutely.
And it's something that can really be draining. And sometimes, there's some meetings, it's perfectly fine for us not to show our face, which
Yes.
I'll raise my hand. I'm the first one to turn that camera off. It's like, listen, you don't need to see me. I'm working. Okay.
Right. Sure,
But there are
absolutely.
occasions where we, in order to present our most professional self, we do have to show our face. And so that's why we're having this conversation today. So, Erin, what are some thoughts you have around looking your best when you're having those? I mean, I'm saying Zoom, it doesn't have to be Zoom, it could be web,
Sure.
be any other virtual platform where we have to show our face. Let's
Yes.
talk about that. What do you think about it?
All right. So, yes, for me, I can definitely attest to what you were just speaking on as far as, virtual Zoom fatigue. It's really a thing, when you think about having to do multiple things, even in the same space, it can be tiring. You go from work, and, you may transition into, I can say, a virtual Bible study, and then you transition to a birthday party, a virtual birthday. So if you think about it, you're sitting in this same space all day, transitioning through meeting after meeting, for various reasons. And so after a while, you just want to take that computer and probably throw it somewhere because again, I've had to myself learn to step away and also get outside, get some fresh air, not even again necessarily to do anything specific, but just step away from the space in which I'm conducting all of these meetings and that I'm participating in, because it can be very draining. And then you get to a point where you also feel like I'm tired of getting ready. I don't want to be on all the time. So now we are transitioning to how to look your best, and not and with minimal effort. You do want to always look your best in any given setting, especially when you are having to show your face. We are afforded the opportunity in some meetings to not have to show our face, but if you're speaking, it would be ideal that you show your face. And in those settings, you want to put your best foot forward. And that doesn't mean that you have to be completely made up or anything like that. But we want to present our best selves in that, even if that means, you may put on a little concealer or even a little eyeliner. And one of the things that I like most is a tinted moisturizer. And so that's really good because it's not as heavy as foundation, and it'll still give you the coverage that you need. One of the ones that I really like is by Black Radiance, and I believe it's about $5 at the drugstore. So it's very affordable, but it's something that you can, put on really quickly. And some people even put it on with their hands. It's a moisturizer. Ideally, you put it on with a brush, but if you don't, you can put it on, and I mean, it will give you a fresh face, a fresh glow. And so I would encourage, anybody to grab one of those, because it's really handy for those times in which, even if you're traveling, you don't want to carry something super heavy or a lot of makeup. A beauty balm, which is normally called a BB cream, is very helpful, and it's very quick, to put on, and it'll give you the coverage that you need to look fresh faced and ready.
Absolutely. And so, Aaron, we're getting so much love on this side. I want to let you know some of the questions that are coming in. Funny enough, someone who is that Aki? I can't pronounce your handle very well, but he said, "No, I'm just keep my cameras all. I'm gonna keep my camera always off." Listen, I connected with that experience.
Listen, I get it.
Yeah. And then another question came in about seeking employment, and so I wanted to make sure that I asked that question from to you, but I also want to give a little bit of advice around this. So
Yes.
for the most part, a lot of meetings and things like that we can do virtually. There's sometimes you can even log in to a call with your cell phone versus using your laptop or computer.
Sure.
And so a member of the audience asked, what is Zoom? So Zoom is a virtual platform to be able to conduct meetings, but it's also, people are using it, like Aaron said, for birthday parties. Even homegoing services now are on, virtual.
Weddings.
So the people that we see, we don't get to see them in real life and, up close and personal. And so we have to be able to present our best selves in this space. And sometimes between lighting and internet connection, that can alter the way we appear.
Yes.
So it's important that we try our very best to look our very best.
Yes.
I like, someone said affordable self-awareness means for, okay. So I like that. So Aaron mentioned about affordable care. Affordable beauty products, I should say. So we're not saying you have to spend an arm and a leg.
No,
And
not at all.
I also like that you said, someone asked, what's the name of the moisturizer? Say that again.
Oh, it's a beauty balm. So it's a BB cream by Black Radiance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're amazing. And again, they're really inexpensive, and you can get it at your local drugstore. So they sell them at like the CVS and Walgreens and all of that. So please check them out. They're really good.
And I like it. So that now makes me ask a few more questions. All these questions are going around in my brain.
Sure.
One, so you mentioned about going to your local store and this being quick and easy. Because I know a lot of us now, the commute to work is from our pillow to our computer.
Yeah.
But still our sleep patterns might be thrown off. So you might be waking up 5 minutes before the meeting. So what do you suggest if you are pressed for time, like to be able to get on the call very quickly? I know you mentioned the BB cream, but is there anything else that you
sure. If
do
you
quickly
have at home, whatever that the thing is you want to look fresh face. You don't want to look like you just rolled out of bed. And so a part of that means that, wash your face. Wash your face. Throw a hot towel on, clean your face, and you can even pull your hair back, depending on your hairstyle. You can pull your hair back really quickly. You just want to look well groomed. You don't want to look like you did, even though we know that we're all pretty much, most of us are home based at this point, but we want to also just take a few minutes, even before you get on the call. Like what I like to do is also test my space and my lighting. And so what I will do is take my phone. And now I have, I've pretty much committed to one specific place in my house because it works best for me when I'm on a virtual call. And so what that means is, even before I decided that this was going to be my virtual call space, I took my phone and I turned the camera towards me to see what that would look like if I set it in this position. What would the lighting be like? So you want to be mindful of your lighting as well, because it can also cast a shadow. So you want to make sure you test out your space even before getting on the call to ensure that the view of your space, it's a good view. It's a good view of you. They can fully see you. There's no competing lighting in the space where, your face is distorted or anything like that. And it also gives you an opportunity to work out any kinks before getting on the call. And so I just encourage everybody to test out the space even before you hop on the call.
Absolutely. And Aaron brings up a great point. So this is not just about vanity. This is not just about, one-upmanship or others that are on the call, because the truth is, this is the only way the person is able to interact with you online. And you may look tired because you've been tirelessly working to accomplish the goal, but it doesn't look like you're invested if you're not showing up looking your best.
Absolutely.
Because unfortunately, they can't tell that you're working. They can't see just how hard you're working through an email. But when you come on and you look like you still got face on your face, it looks like you just got up, even though
right.
Working for hours. So this is critical information for both women and men who want to take care of yourself and look your best. Absolutely. So the question that came up was, and again, you're getting a lot of thumbs up and love on this end. I don't know if you see it. But the other question was about interviews. So, okay, an interview is a little bit different. Getting up for a meeting, because this is the first interaction you have with that company.
Yes.
What do you have suggestions in terms of how we want to present ourselves in the best light for an interview?
Okay, so I would suggest, in presenting yourself in the best light for an interview, I would definitely suggest that if you are a makeup wearer, I would suggest that you do maybe more of a mild look. You don't want to go overboard. You want to look as if how you would present yourself in the office. And that means, if you have to put on a top, because they can't see your bottoms. You may have pajama bottoms at the bottom, but you know, you put on a nice blazer, you know, you put on a nice button down, or even a nice dress, you know, that you would typically wear to an interview. You know, you want to look fresh face. You don't want anything distracting, you know, keeping them, you know, while they're trying to get to know you. And while they look at your resume, which is great, they're also looking at your appearance, which matters. You want to make sure that you look your best and that you present your best, because that's all at this point that they have to go off of. And so you want to make sure, again, that, you know, you're not wearing the loud blue eyeshadow. Listen, I'm a creative, so I'm nothing against it, okay? Nothing against it. I think I went to my Mac interview with like loud blue makeup or something like that. But as far as a professional look, you want to ensure that there's nothing distracting them from what you're speaking about. You know, what you are, because at this point you're trying to persuade them to hire you, and so you don't want anything competing with their ability to see you for who you are.
Good question. Good point. I like that distraction, because it's especially for like lipstick and things like that. Certain lipstick is okay for just a regular conversation, but then it can be very distracting where they're only focusing on the loud color. So we have a couple of questions, and should we bring up current events during the interview? Oh, that's a great question. It depends on what you're being interviewed for. Honestly, I would think that meaning how far you go into the conversation about current events. And there's a lot of current events happening in our country, in our global community. So I would need to know specifically what you're talking about. Are you talking about the civil unrest that's happening, the peaceful protests? Are you talking about the pandemic and how we're trying to emerge from it, where there's a lot of openings? I would say, how is it industry specific? How is that going to show that you are knowledgeable about how that company is addressing what's currently happening in the world? So that's what I would say about, you know, whether or not you're bringing up on an interview. But that's a good question though for you, Erin. How do you keep your clients and yourself safe? Because you're like right in their face during makeup. Like, what are some things that you would suggest for them to do as well in terms of having conversations with makeup artists during this time?
Oh, during this time. And so I think right now, you know, we want to ensure that we are keeping ourselves safe, in that we are, of course, what we've been hearing, sanitizing our hands, sanitizing our utensils, ensuring that we're wearing the face mask and things like that. And it's at the makeup artist's discretion. If you are absolutely uncomfortable with providing this level of service at this time, it's okay. That does not make you, oh, you're not on the grind and you're not doing what, no. Do what is comfortable for you, and you get back out there when you are ready, and don't allow anyone to force you to do that would be my suggestion. But if you are going to do it, I would definitely follow the rules and regulations as deemed necessary during the pandemic. And again, that's washing your hands, ensuring that you're wearing a face mask, so there is no transference.
Okay. And so there's a question that came in, but now makes me ask a further follow-up question. So how do I know that my makeup artist is like adhering to whatever the rules and regulations? I know there's like these COVID certifications out there, but how do I know, okay, this makeup artist is not cleaning their tools properly, or they are? Like, how would I know?
Well, I mean, honestly, that's something I tell all of my clients, whether they use me or not. You know, I say to them that they want to always ensure that they look at the makeup artist's utensils. You know, I get it that some artists probably go from job to job, and so you have to clean in between and things like that. But ensure that they're not using used brushes on you. It's okay to ask. It's okay to look. You want to ensure that they're using disposable lash wands and eyeliner wands and things like that, all disposable, so that they're not, you know, using utensils behind another person, which again would cause an issue with, you know, bacteria and the transference of all of that. It's not safe. It's not good sanitary practice. And so you have to be mindful. I know a lot of times you're sitting there and your eyes are closed and you're like, do your thing, girl, handle your business. But for me, I'm always very, you know, observant and looking at what people are using, what they're doing. Is that clean? Did she wash her hands? It's something that I even practice even before, even before COVID. You know, that was something that we're taught, you know, just in general, regular sanitation practices, is that ensuring that you're washing your hands, ensuring that you're using clean brushes and utensils, and tools for clients, so that's really, really, really important.
Absolutely. So another question is so, and I'm grateful that you asked it. It's okay to ask. It's not offensive to ask because you're the person that has to walk away from that situation with that makeup on your face, and you're getting so much love on this end about that. I had a horrible makeup experience. I did a shoot for a friend from college, and my face broke out.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
I'm grateful it didn't happen during this time because then there's other concerns as well. But what she's saying is so true. You will be, you're the one who has to go home and have to wash off your face. Which reminds me, we have to talk about good skincare. But before we do,
Sure, sure.
there's a question that came in from the community and says, should we ask the company their stance on Black Lives Matter? Well, I have a couple of answers for that, and then I'm going to pose it kind of differently to Erin. So my answer to that is, if it's a value that is important to you before you share your talents with that company, then you most definitely want to ask them. However, I want to add this caveat that it's an appropriate time to ask it. So what do I mean by that? When you're coming into the interview, it's a mutual interview process that's happening. They're and you should be interviewing that company to see if you want to share your gifts and talents with them. So when they ask you, do you have any questions? I would suggest that's the place that you want to ask the question about their stance on Black Lives Matter. But you want to ask it in such a way that it's related to the interview, so that you can honestly get their response about how it applies to what they do. So let's just say you're working, it's ABC company, and you notice that their stock is, increasing in one area. I would ask, how has the Black Lives Matter movement affected your stock? What is your position on the Black Lives Matter movement? Because it shows that I'm invested in what they're talking about and I've done my research, but it also allows you to interview them to see if that's a place that you really want to work, if that's a value for you. So Erin, as a business owner and entrepreneur, has anyone asked you about that, like your stance on Black Lives Matter movement? And then how would you address that with a client?
No, honestly, I haven't really been working. I've definitely distanced myself since, the pandemic. So no, I haven't had that conversation. However, I would not be ashamed to uh, validate my stance on Black Lives Matter and how I think it's very important that we not remain silent, about the racial injustices that are, that's happening right now. And so for me, again, as a business owner, a Black business owner, it's very important for me to exercise my voice and let it be known, my stance on that. And so I'm not afraid to lose a client based on my stance. I'm just being honest.
Absolutely. I like the way you put that, Erin, because as an entrepreneur, if you don't work, you don't eat. And so sometimes we can be very nervous about any particular personal views seeping into our professional. But this is something that's a global conversation that's happening. And so you have to make a decision. Is this something that, like you said, she's not willing to lose a client? And honestly, that goes both ways for both employer and client. Don't be afraid to ask the question because you don't want to get in that and realize, oh, this is not the place for me.
Yes.
So you don't want to be working with a client and have them say something that's like, I'm going to go ahead and give you your refund back. And all you did was put their value.
Yeah.
So you want to be upfront and honest and be transparent. But again, I'm always for, there's a right time and place for everything. And it might be as an entrepreneur that you post that on your website or on your platforms to let clients know. And they can make a decision whether or not they want to work with you.
Sure.
And in an interview, I wouldn't suggest you walk in there and say, hi, my name is John Doe. What is your stance on Black Lives Matter? There's a right time and space, how that natural flow of conversation can happen. So I wanted to circle back to skincare because you mentioned about putting hot towel on your face. I know you were just saying, do something.
Yeah, wake up.
Yes. And so this is something that's really important for both men and women. What are your tips around skincare so that we can keep up with the quarantine glow when we come back in our offices and spaces? What are your tips on skincare in this time?
Well, for me, I'm no esthetician. I am a makeup artist, but I'm no esthetician. But a standard practice for me, and I would suggest to all, is definitely something that's been working for me during the quarantine. Has definitely been. It is something that I felt like I practiced before quarantine, but I think I got more into it since quarantine. I've taken, more accountability for skincare. And it's important, even if when you're wearing makeup, you are supposed to be, washing your face twice a day, ensuring that you are exfoliating a few times a week, and then also ensuring that you're using a toner and moisturizer. I know a lot of times people who may have oily skin shy away from using moisturizer, but our bodies, our face, we still need that moisture. You want to make sure that you're drinking water a day, and a significant, at least the 8 glasses a day, because that promotes healthy skin as well. And so it's overall good for your body, of course, but it definitely promotes skin. I've noticed that when I increase my water intake, that the elasticity of my skin, I can just feel the difference and the softness in my skin. And so for me, that's been a major shift in my skincare practices. Again, I know that water is good for you, but for my skin, oh my gosh, it has done wonders. And so I would just encourage everyone to drink water. Listen, drink. I don't even know what other way to say. Drink water. It does wonders for your skin. And aside from that, depending on your skin, that would depend on the type of um, um, face wash, that your skin requires. Some people have sensitive skin, so you might want to get something that's hypoallergenic or sensitive skin. Other people may not have sensitive skin, and so they can do maybe a harsher wash or face creams or anything like that. And so again, I'm no esthetician, but I would talk to, you would go into your local department store. Well, right now I don't know, some places and some aren't, but talk to some skincare experts. Do some research online to see what best suits your skin. I don't. Yeah, that would be my suggestion.
Absolutely, absolutely. So awesome information. So I'm curious, looking at your face, it's gorgeous.
Thank
And
you.
I know the lighting is just right behind you as well. Can you tell us a bit about your face today? What were some of the products that you use? Because you're coming across as professional, youthful. If you didn't get much sleep last night, I couldn't tell because your eyes look like you're bright and refreshed. Can you tell us a little bit about your face and what you chose to put on today?
Sure. Today, I didn't want to overdo it, and so I, again, lightly, I put on some concealer. I did LA Pro. It's a inexpensive skin. It's very inexpensive. You can get it at your local beauty supply or drugstore. It's about $2.99. I put an LA Pro concealer, I put on regular Kiss black eyeliner, did my brows. I didn't carve them out with concealer or anything like that because I said, I wanted to come across as if I were getting on Zoom. I probably wouldn't have done a red lip for the work day, but I felt like I wanted a little pop today, and so I put on the red lip. But I did a very simple face. I didn't do any blush, I didn't do any highlight or anything like that, but something very simple. And it's pretty much, if I took off the red lip, it would generally be my everyday look. And I thought I'd pop on a set of lashes just for fun because we don't really get to do anything these days because of quarantine. And so I thought it would be cool to pop on a set of lashes for the interview today.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you went through what you come on because, again, a lot of times people feel like that they have to go even the extra mile because of technology and making sure that you do look your best. But you can look your best even with simple products, unless you're interviewing for a makeup position. Then you might want to go all out so they can see your skills. But this is something that's very important. Okay. Well, Erin, I'm excited. I know you keep saying you're not an esthetician, but I just feel like one of these days you are going to be one. Because
I wouldn't mind. I would do it. I would definitely.
Absolutely. Because I'm hearing even skincare tips, even when you were talking about concealer and things like that, but it's also about, like you were mentioning, moisture, and that goes a long way. Making sure you've got making sure your lips aren't dry and cracked. Things like that. It shows that if I care enough for myself, I'll care for the mission and the goals of whoever I choose to share my with. And so very, very important. And one of these days, Aaron, I'm thinking we're going to have to do this again. And I'll come barefaced and you can walk me through so that I don't scare the people for too long with my bare face.
Oh, please. I'm definitely open to it. Absolutely. You're absolutely gorgeous. Cut it out.
She's being nice ones, but thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Well, Erin, do you have any? I know that you said you're not really working with any clients right now, not in the same way we were before pre-quarantine.
Sure.
But any special announcements that you want to share with the community? Anything that you want them to know about what you're working on, or what they should look out for?
Well, right now, I'm definitely revamping the website. And so look out for that. My website, you can still go to it now. It's still live. It's www.deluxebeautyexperience.com. And so I'm working on updating some things on my website to include blogging and then also a lifestyle. I want to work on and update my page to include lifestyle so that people can see kind of some of my day-to-day activities and other things that I find fun. So it'll be an interesting page to include, again, you know, health and fitness. And also I want to start working on tutorials and things of that nature. And so, yeah, those are some of the things I'm working on. I'm really excited about it, and I'm really happy to share.
Absolutely. I'm excited too, because I can only imagine just being able, because I don't know, I know everyone in the community doesn't know Erin the way I do, but everything about her is fabulous. So if you don't know already, you need to go ahead and head over and make sure you're following her webpage, slide her your email in her DM so she can keep you up to date of what's happening on her page. Let me go ahead and pin that, because we got a comment saying getting people to go live and making sure the lighting is right. Thanks for the tip. Welcome, move forward, TDJ. Absolutely, she's gonna look stellar because of the tips that Erin has. So already people are using and applying what Erin is talking about. So you need to stay in the loop of what she's talking about. Follow her page, and that's at GlamGal85. I want to make sure I put that in the chat box. Head over to her website that I also put down in the chat box and I pinned. And if you missed any part of this conversation, you missed a whole lot of good information. So you want to make sure you watch this on the replay. You want to make sure you head over to Swag Her Magazine, which, by the way, thank you, Swag Her Magazine, for
Thank
bringing
you.
so much wonderful information to the relevant to the community, because a lot of us are now even doing workouts online. So
Yes.
we want to look our best during our workouts. And these are things that you want to think about. So that's one homework assignment. One, follow GlamGal85. Then you want to go over to her website and keep up to date with it. Check it every once in a while so you can see what all the wonderful working on. And then three, you want to make sure that you are ready for the next best career move. So she already told you how to look good in the current meeting so you get your promotion. She already told you how to look good for your interview so you get the job. Now I want to help you with the skills to make sure you not only look good, but you sound good and you show that you're the most qualified candidate for the position. So if you don't already, head over to my page at Jessica Canty, or you can head over to my website as well, jessicacanty.com. And let's talk about how we can make sure that you are ready for your dream career, because companies are still hiring.
Yes.
Even though the unemployment rate is high, I don't take that lightly. I'm not saying that, just lightly. I understand the impact it's having on fellow Americans. However, companies are still hiring, and they want to know that you can be versatile, adaptable, and flexible. So let me help you to help them solve all their issues. I want you to get the job so you can conquer all of their issues. All right, you all. All right, Erin, I'm saying it again, and we're going to have to do this makeup tutorial. We might have to do it face to face. Maybe we can, when we come out of this,
yes,
kind of walk the people through how to get ready and look their best. Thank you so much, Erin, for all your expertise. I can't wait to
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. All right, you all, go back to doing excellent work. I will talk to you all soon. Bye.
Bye.